Hey, you, average citizen. You work hard every day. You go to work, you come home, you want to enjoy your life, so you do your best at your job while you expect others to do their best at their jobs. You want experts to be the experts in their topics, and you're the expert in your topic. You don't need people going around spreading misinformation about biology and medicine related topics. You don't have time for that. You don't want to be muddying your time listening to people who talk crap about things they don't understand. You just want to hear the best information so you can make your own choices. But unfortunately, you have this guy who exists.
Hello there, you 5.3 million awakening wonders. There's a light within you and it's...
Hi, I'm Dr. Wilson. I'm a PhD molecular biologist, and welcome to another COVID debunking video. And this week, we're taking a look at Russell Brand, who used to be a comedian, but now he's just whatever this is.
Those conspiracy theorist wacko cowboy loonies. Oh, the British Medical Journal. Hey, what should we put in today? Let's put in the lollipops are magic. Let's put in the unicorns are real.
He has built an impressive following on YouTube, spreading conspiratorial and anti-vaccine sentiment. And yes, it is anti-vaccine. He thinks it's not. We'll get there. So let's take a look at his claims, because that's what we do here, and explain why they're wrong, what he's missing, and just why he should stop.
Now, as I always have to say to you, on our current beloved platform, we have to be careful about what we say. I'm not offering you medical advice. I'm not making any suggestions to you as to what you should do for your health, for your family's health. What I'm doing here is looking at a very interesting story.
Yeah, that's just his CYA legal hand-waving there. He's absolutely telling you what you should do. He's absolutely encouraging you to not get vaccinated. That's what he's doing. There's no way around it.
The story being that the Food and Drug Administration wanted to delay the release of documents pertaining to the efficacy of vaccines and information around their trials, side effects, for 75 years. But Pfizer have released a 55,000-word document due to a judge saying that they had to release it.
Nope, that's not what happened. This claim I see all the time. This claim that the FDA was going to hide the data for 75 years. No. Here's what happened. Pfizer submitted a large amount of data to the FDA for review after their phase 3 clinical trials. Pfizer also published their results of their phase 3 clinical trials in the New England Journal of Medicine, a peer-reviewed journal that is free to read for anybody. All of the pertinent information that they submitted to the FDA is right there in that publication. It was available as of December of 2020. It's there, not hidden, out in the open, for anyone to read. Beyond the pertinent information that was published, the FDA receives mountains of documents of boring details. And I mean they are boring details, as we are seeing as these documents are released. But the release of these documents come as a Freedom of Information Act request. This Freedom of Information Act requests all these documents be released. But before that happens, the FDA has to manually review all of the documents and redact information. The things being redacted are things like confidential patient information or proprietary information relevant to Pfizer's drug development process. Again, this was a mountain of documents, tens of thousands of pages. The FDA is a busy office. They are receiving so many biological licensing agreements, new drug applications, and so much more every single day. And in the course of a pandemic, with EUAs needing to be reviewed in a prioritized manner, they have a lot of work to do. In order to process this Freedom of Information Act request, they could only dedicate a small legal team in a limited capacity to review these documents and get them to the public. If it remained with just that limited capacity, then it would take 75 years. That's all it was saying. But of course, that didn't happen. Pfizer actually stepped in with their legal resources and offered them to this process of releasing these documents to the public for the sake of transparency. And so now the documents are being released much faster than they would have had it just been the FDA working on it. And just because Russell harps on this, I'm going to belabor the point that yes, the FDA did have limited resources here. Their priority is reviewing drug applications and things that pharmaceutical companies send to them for review so that biological products, medicines can move forward and get to market in order to save and help lives. That's their priority. That's what most of their resources are dedicated to, not processing Freedom of Information Act requests. And now that we have the documents coming out, we see that they are in fact telling us nothing new. All of the pertinent information was again published in that New England Journal of Medicine publication back in December of 2020. These documents are boring. They are not teaching us anything new. That is the gist, and that is the story behind the whole 75 years debacle. But Russell doesn't explain any of that correctly at all, of course. So let's hear what he has to say, let him waffle on, and we'll talk about it.
This follows US District Judge Mark T. Pittman's decision on January the 6th to deny the request from the FDA to suppress the data for the next 75 years, which the agency claimed was necessary in part because of its limited resources. We've got so few resources in the pharmaceutical industry. It's been a tough couple of years. Tightening the belts, we've barely scraped together a few pennies. What with conditions, we've all been hit quite hard by the pandemic over here in the pharmaceutical industry.
Russell, the FDA does not profit off of pharmaceutical drug sales. That's the pharmaceutical companies who were not involved in the FOIA request until Pfizer offered to step in and give their resources to this request. The FDA is a federal agency. They are not even for profit. Man, we're not even a minute into the content of this video, and he's just already demonstrating a huge lack of understanding in how these things actually work.
What that in itself suggests is that there's something to hide. I'm not saying that there's something to hide. I'm saying a request to delay the release of information by 75 years doesn't feel like transparency. And querying that doesn't make you a conspiracy theorist. That makes you someone who makes rational evaluations based on data.
And if you read the data that was available back in December 2020, you'd see that it's very transparent and you wouldn't be asking these stupid questions. But you didn't read, because anti-vaxxers never read.
So when you have a situation where the British Medical Journal are saying the anonymised participant level data underlying the trials for these new products remain inaccessible to doctors, researchers and the public and are likely to remain that way for years to come. Doctors, researchers and the public. Can the public see? No, those idiots. We don't trust them. We're not going to tell them anything. What about researchers? It would really help with the research. No, they come to their own conclusions. In my files with their dirty little hands. What if they've had a jam sandwich? All right. What about doctors? Doctors? I don't trust those guys in a white coat, stethoscope. Pooey.
Yeah, this is all complete nonsense. Russell thinks that it's true because he thinks it's the BMJ saying it, but journals do not say things. Journals publish things that members of the community write and send to the journal, and then they decide to publish things that they might think might be useful to the conversation. It's not the journal saying it, it's the journal in this case publishing a bad opinion. Like I said, all of the data has been there for anybody to analyze as much as they want for almost 2 years now. It's just, there's no excuse for this stuff. It's just blatant ignoring of reality.
And that leads to at least skepticism, sometimes cynicism, possibly hesitancy, sometimes in a climate where we know how Big Pharma have behaved in the past, downright doubt and resistance. Can you see why that might be happening under these circumstances?
Yes, I can totally see that if you're in an echo chamber where you're being fed garbage information by people who don't understand what they're talking about on topics that you yourself have not read anything about, then yeah, I can see how you might misunderstand pretty much the entire thing and have some hesitancy because you're afraid of things that you don't understand. I can totally see that. But luckily, we have all the data available to us in abundance.
Wouldn't it be nice to hear, hey, listen, look, I know you're worried about this stuff. Here's all the data. There's all the data. Check it out. Read it for yourself. We're so confident in this product. We're so confident in this situation and our decisions that you can just read what you want and then you can decide based on... What's wrong with that?
Hey, Russell, here's the clinical trial. It has all of the data you would want to know about the clinical trials in it. You can read it for free. It's been there for almost 2 years. Oh, and if you want more data that is even better than clinical trials, here are so many papers that you can read that will go in depth about vaccine safety and how that plays out in a population level. These papers come from several independent research groups from all over the world spanning governments and ideologies. It's all consistent. It all says the same thing, that vaccines are very safe and very effective. So, what more do you want, Russell? Please enlighten us.
The purpose of regulators is not to dance to the tune of rich global corporations and enrich them further. Oh, no, actually, that is the purpose of regulators, because the regulators are often funded by those very pharmaceutical bodies. You can check that out for yourself. It literally is to dance to their tune.
No, it's not. I've explained this more in depth in 2 of my videos already, but if the FDA were dancing to the tune of pharmaceuticals, then you would not expect the vast majority of new drug applications to be rejected by the FDA because they don't meet FDA standards. But like the conspiracy theorist that Russell is, he ignores things that don't fit his preconceived notion of how the world works. This obviously goes against the idea that pharmaceutical companies are controlling the FDA, but he ignores it. He's probably not even aware of it because he doesn't care to look for it, because he doesn't read, because anti-vaxxers never read.
How about complete transparency? Oh no, you wouldn't understand that. Not you. The public, you are the public. I am the public. That's who we are. You're the public. They won't understand. They're stupid. And then if you sort of spend time doing your own research, looking stuff up on the internet, oh yeah, did you do your own research? Oh, you little dummy, you idiot, you conspiracy theorist. Well, I'd happily look at their research, but I'm not allowed to because I'll be dead by then.
Listening to him is painful, even for me, so I'm sorry. But hopefully you see the irony here is that all of the information is available to you, Russell, and you still don't get it. You still aren't aware of how to interpret it for yourself. You aren't even aware of where to find it. You appear to just listen to people who spout the lies that you like to hear, the ones that reaffirm your already established worldview. You don't have any regards for what the data actually say. You just want to feel like you're offering good information without actually working that hard. And it's paying off for you, buddy, so good for you. But you're going to leave behind a legacy of being an anti-vaccine spreader of misinformation. That's the reality. Accept it or not. Well, that was a fun, interesting one for you, hopefully. All of the science that I talked about in this video is going to be linked in the description below so that you, even you, Russell, can read it for yourself and educate yourself a little bit. You can learn something. It's fun. I'm also going to put in the description an episode of the podcast Conspirituality where they talk about Russell Brand and just everything about what he is now. It's really interesting. I recommend you check it out. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe so you can catch me next week where I'll be debunking some more funky stuff. See you then.